Hey, what's happening, everybody? I hope everybody's good. You know, when we think about change, right, we think about and a lot of things in our lives that we wish we could change or we want to change. And if you want to change anything, change first starts here. It first starts in your mind. Before you can change the way you eat, to change your weight, you can before you change your finances, before you change your competency or anything. It all starts right here. And so when we think about what you feed your mind is what ultimately your life becomes. And so if you're feeding your mind things that is filled with negativity, then your life is going to swarm and revolve around negativity. And so I come to realize that because of the work that I do, because of the things that I'm involved in, I have to constantly feed my mind with something positive. If I don't, then the negative of the negativity that's in our community, or the effects of how race is going in our community, race relations is going in our community, or crime in our community, and that stuff you can get so fixated on that you stalemate, or your life now revolves around something. Inwardly, you don't feel good. You don't feel like you're productive, or you don't feel like you are doing what's necessary for you. And so this is where, when we talk about self-care, yes, it's exercising the body because the body needs it, right? And it's eating right, it's resting, it's all those things. But also, it is what you feed your mind. What you feed your mind is how you respond, causes you to respond to the thing that there comes. Because if you feed your mind with something, and then here it is, and we all have opportunities. Matter of fact, the Bible says it this way: I've set before you life and death, blessing and curses, right? Everything is set before you. Now it's how you respond to it. How you respond dictates what you're feeding yourself, and what you're allowing to enter into you, and what you're allowing to enter into your eye gate, your ear gate, and how you're perceiving things. How you perceive things is all based on what you feed yourself and what you're feeding in your mind. The Bible says that be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Transformation is to metamorph, to change, right? So here it is: you can conform, which is really you attach yourself to something and you stay there, right? And that's conforming. Conforming draws you to it like a magnet, and then you stay there, you stuck in it. But transformation is changing. It is not going through those things. It's like, yes, what's around me is trying to shape me, or do something in me, or move something in me that is not there. It's trying to conform me to it. It's trying to make me believe it. It's trying to make me understand it. It's trying to make me realize this is the way, accept what life is. No, you don't have to accept what life is. You can transform yourself to go beyond that. I know people who were born in poverty, single mothers, and then they come out of those situations, and they become doctors and lawyers and community leaders and all those things. See, but now it wasn't that their environment wasn't trying to conform them to stay there. It wasn't that their environment wasn't trying to conform them to remain in those spaces, but they had to feed their mind with something different so that they can transform from this state to a different state, to where they want to go. And I don't care where it is you want to go in life, it's going to start right here. It's going to start in the way you think, and your thinking comes by what you put into it, what you constantly feed yourself with it. And just like anything else, right, when you first start, if you change your diet right now, and I'm saying this because I've done this, and so when I changed my diet, when I initially changed my diet, The eating, I couldn't stand avocados. I mean, oh my God. Oh, I couldn't stand it, right? I couldn't fathom eating it, no matter what I put on it, no matter how I did it, and this and that. And so then I had to realize, but the more I fed myself that, the more my taste buds and the more my appetite started to transform now into those things. And so I can always tell if I go too long without eating the right things, or if I get off my diet in any kind of way, right? Then and I always, my wife laughs at me because I can have a salad, some spinach and stuff like that, and I'll be like, man, my body just clapped inside, because it's like, yes, this is what we're used to, this is what we need, right? This is what we need. And I'm just here to tell you that it didn't start that way, though. I had to feed my appetite something different until I got used to it. I had to, I remember when I was newly saved and newly getting into the church, right? Listening to certain music was like my thing, right? So I loved it, but I knew it wasn't, like, I wasn't being productive in it. It was contradicting what I was hearing in church and what I was reading and what I was learning for myself. And so so I did this thing where I just had to, I cut off secular music for a while and only listen to gospel music, Christian music, because one of the things that I wanted to do was I wanted to feed my spirit something different. I wanted to get something different in my mind. And so at first I was like, man, this is whack. This ain't good music at all. And now that's my preferred music. Like, it's my preferred music over anything else. And so, but it didn't start that way. I had to transform. I had to morph into those things in order to get there. I know those are simplistic things, but you got to realize, if you want success in your life, success starts with where you think. Success starts with what you feed your mind and what you put in your mind. And so it's not about, oh, this is self-help. No, I'm just giving you the scripture, because the scripture says whatever you're in right now, you have conformed to it. You have dialed down your vision, your dreams, and you have now said, this is the only way. This is the only way I can live. This is all I deserve. This is all I'm going to get. Why? Because poverty is trying to make you conform to it. Violence is trying to make you conform to it. Drug culture is trying to make you conform to it. Lust and all those things, it conforms you to it. And so what it does is it appeals first to a sensory that wakens something up in you that you say, wow, this feels good. And so because it feels good, it brings you to it. It draws you into it and makes you stay right there. And now you can't go anywhere else. You can't think about anything else. You now work just so you can party, or you now make money just so you can go shopping, because you've conformed into some kind of a culture or some kind of thing that says this is all you deserve. And so then now, here it is, if you want to move forward in life, if you want to change anything in your life, that means that you are going to have to feed your mind with something different. And you got to get around some people that also think differently than you. I purposely put myself in rooms that I feel inferior in. I don't feel like I deserve to be there. I purposely put myself in rooms where people are talking about money in a way that I can't even fathom how much money they even got. Sometimes they'll be talking about things I'll be calculating in my mind, like, man, that costs that they must got a lot of money, but they talk about their investments, they talk about their business strategies, they talk about these things. And why? Because I'm feeding my mind with something different. And so my goal, and I want, and this can be yours too, but my goal is not to remain the same, to grow. And when you have gradual, consistent growth in your life, that means it's sustainable growth. You can stop anything today and just I'm gonna go do that, right? And then now I change. Well, sometimes is it sustainable? right? Is your workout routine sustainable? Is your diet sustainable? And the only way it can be sustainable is that you gradually move with certain things and put certain pillars and principles in your life that you now believe in, right? I can change any action, but if it doesn't start here, if I don't have the principles up here, then it's not going to be sustainable. It's not going to do what I needed to do. I'm going to have a limited success. I'm going to have quick bursts of stuff and then filter out, because wherever it is that I do, I need to have it be sustainable. And so the case in point, I was talking to one of my mentors and coaches, and he was just telling me, he's like, okay, you're at this stage now where you have to focus. Your focus it has to be different, right? Your focus, because everything in your life right now is requiring full-on faith, right? It's not like it requires full-on faith to believe God for it, right? And so, and the reason why, so he was saying is, he says, you got so many other things that's catching your attention that you can't really put your focus here. And then if you can't put your focus there, you can't put your faith there. And I'm like, man, well, if I can't put my focus there, I can't put my faith there, then where is my faith going? My faith is spinning like everything else in my life. Like, like those spinning plates, right? And so this is the analogy that he gave me. And so he's giving me these spinning plates. And he says, what you're doing, you're running to this plate, spinning it. You're running over here to this plate and you're spinning it. You're trying to keep all these plates going. But you got to get to a place where you realize what's the most important plate that you have right now. What is the thing that you really want to accomplish? And then you have to stop caring whether or not these plates keep spinning. And so if you're going to stop caring whether or not these plates stop spinning, now you got to be willing to say, okay, you know what? I'm good with that plate falling and breaking, and I never go to it again. Or you can go to it and you can say, you know what? I need to take this plate off of this spinner right now. I'm going to lay it down, because this may be something I come back to later on, but right now it's not serving the purpose. It's not serving my focus. It's not serving my faith. And so I'm bringing this up because right after we talked about this and after the session, I began to rehash it, but also I began to look through my library and on my audible.com. I looked through my library and my bookshelf, and I'm like, okay, what do I have right now that can feed my focus, that can feed my mind to get me back to focusing, right? In my coaching we have our coaching system. There's a system that I teach, right? There's a system that I live by. And I've realized just the other day, I was telling him, which is why we were having a conversation, and I realized, man, I'm not doing the things that I taught, right? And mainly I was like, well, because one, I haven't taught it in so long because of the COVID situation, but I have this system that I go by, that I live by, right? But then now I got lax, I stopped doing it, and now I got all these plates spinning, and I'm just running. And every day I feel like I'm just going here. And so these things just spinning and spinning and spinning. And so you go from here to there and you're running back and forth. And you have to realize, you know what, if you don't stop, one or two things are going to happen. You're going to forget about a plate and it's going to fall and crash. Or you can just focus yourself, realize the things that you need to be focused on, and then go to those other plates and just take them off and say, you know what, I need to put this aside right now. I don't want to hurt anybody. Don't want to stop anything that I'm doing, but yet there's something I need to focus on. And because you got to focus on it, then now you get to lay that down. And if time prohibits, you get some time in some margin back in your schedule, you can pick that back up and work with that again. But it won't feel like you're in this this circus act, just trying to keep things moving, when it's just time to focus. And so then I had to realize I had to feed myself with something different, because over the pandemic, I was feeding myself with the chase, let's get this, let's do this, let's do this, let's do that, let's do this, let's do this, and just trying to get something back in order so I don't feel like I'm depressed, or don't feel like I'm just going through something. So I'm just like trying to move in so many different arenas. But then you have to stop a moment, and I had to really think, like, man, that's right. But if he hadn't fed me that analogy, if he hadn't fed me that information, I wouldn't have it here. So then I can then now make some changes in my life. Sitting down with somebody is another way to make changes. Finding you a mentor is another way to make changes. Hiring a coach like myself or somebody else that you trust is a way to make changes, because they can see things differently than what you can see, and they'll feed you with the change knowledge that you need. And here's the other thing, not just change knowledge, but they will coach you through and help you manage the change. Because that's the other thing when it comes down to change, and this is another video that we're going to probably have to do, but you have to then now manage that change. And how do you manage change? And so you got to feed yourself with change management information. And because if you don't know how to manage the change, then man, that change can also be overwhelming and just as destructive as you conforming. And so maybe we'll do another video on that. If y'all want that video, just let me know. But hey, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel and share the channel. Ask other people to subscribe, make a comment, and we'll go from there. I hope y'all have a blessed day, man, and peace.